Udah langsung sekalian ini ya, langsung sekalian opening aja guys. Oke, welcome semua. Ini dia pertandingan final upper bracket antara Onic PH melawan tim Liquid ID. ID pula cok. Tim Liquid PH. Sorry guys, salah ngomong ya. By the way, sumpah Tlph kemarin lawan Falcon, wah bener-bener di reverse sweep bro. Gila, kalian boleh cek di YouTube gua guys. Gila, 1-0 buat Falcon, 2-0 Falcon leading. Anjing guys, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2 di comeback anjing. Wah gila, bener-bener kacau kali guys. Jadinya tim Aurora sama tim siapa nih, tim Falcon nanti di lower bracket deh guys ya. Untuk di upper bracket sekarang ini tim Liquid PH sama Onic PH guys. Let's go, Ikuzo, jangan lupa like dan subscribe. Ini game pertama ya guys ya. By the way, best of 5. Ini gua bentar ya guys ya. Gua mau gosok gigi dulu baru pulang makan gua guys. Bentar ya.
Falcons did use it too just last night when they unfortunately got their reverse sweep. But now what could be the last ban for Onic Philippines? The trend so far is opening so much in terms of the jungler picks for both Tlph and Kingkong.
You think there's a chance we might be seeing a race for the low E for the first picks here? I mean, it is Sanji and Super Friends.
That's the thing. With Chip out of the equation, you're going to want to watch out for that early low E. Low E snuck into drafts twice yesterday in the last phase. So with the Joy being banned here, maybe these two teams get the incentive to, lock in that low E here first or to close off their first phase.
Yeah, and by the way, that Lu Yi last night was crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's been using the diversions non-stop whenever it was available, pairing it up also with some crowd control. It's definitely going to work wonders here for both of these teams, whoever decides to pick it up. But Team Liquid Philippines, they seem like they would rather pick the Jushin this time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna knock it. I think there's still a wide hero pool available for Super Friends, so they don't need to race for it too hard. But Dangable, I believe, is might be the mindset here for Onic, or maybe looking towards getting one of the priority picks for Kelrath. I don't know if they want to rush either the Moskov or the Granger, though.
Yeah, I mean, we did mention in the Keys to Victory the entire Core Protect 1 thingy, but when it's the Moskov, I think you can expect something else from Kelrath. This time around, they're sticking with the Granger, though, and the Baksha that was just previously mentioned.
Yeah, what's so amazing about this Baksha is it provides rotational speed, reach, and anti-heal. All of these things are good in multiple kinds of combat. So by locking it in early, Coach Wynot's not, closing the draft. But Liquid, oh man, they secure the Hayabusa, key to their comeback last night, and of course the Phoveus, who is currently still, even post-patch, sitting high up in the prio bans and picks.
Yep, and there's gonna be a Suyou from Kingkong to round out the first half of the drafting phase so far. So I'd say there's still plenty of flex that you can expect from Onic heading into the second phase, right?
Yeah, you can still flex the box into the roam and the EXP, and lately that changes a lot of the dynamics, considering that it's up against the Phoveus. However, it might still default into the classic Hilda versus Phoveus in lane, considering that you see a Hayabusa on the other side. Makes sense for Kirk wanting to say to Coach Why not to Coach Hayes, hey, can I get a Hilda at least so I can try to apply pressure in their jungle?
Hilda for Kirk has been, like one of the heroes you just constantly attach to his name because he plays it that way. That entire solo rank warrior feeling whenever he gets the hands on his Hilda. But now they're respecting some of JP's potential hero picks, taking out the Jawhead as well.
You can't deny the astronomical win rate that JP has on the JH. But look at this, Liquid blocking out Super Friends' favorite, the Pharsa. They should ban the, rather the Selena, then ban the Pharsa, because that's all three main heroes that he has. But that still leaves the really open.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right.
So what do? Pick your poison, right? Is it Selena?
Wah Baksha, Sasuke.
Onic Philippines banning out the
Hayabusa, Joy kena ban ya? Joy Kimi kena ban, Baksha. Kok Baksha terus sih? Rotasinya cepet ya? Rotasi cepet. Regen juga. Jadi ya kayak anti regen alami guys. Gak perlu glowingan juga perlu sih. Glowing atau si Albert gitu ya.
flex, and they're not afraid of the Farsa. Why? Again, they have the.
Mereka ini banning pace-nya cepet loh, drafting pace-nya cepet guys. Kalau MPL Indo guys, udah itu sampai setengah jam nih, sampai tahun depan bro. Lama kali drafting pace-nya. Tak mikir apa cok. Ini PH juara berapa kali ya, drafting pace-nya cepet-cepet aja gitu kan. Moskov. Wah, Moskov Hayabusa bro. Ini pening kali nih Onic PH nih cok. Loi kena ban ya. Parsya. Cok lah. Gloo ya. Soalnya kan musuhnya Hayabusa guys. Mungkin ya bisa di lock sama Cok.
Gloo's new, and there was a time in the past month that we could have taken. But here he is, looking to latch on two major targets. He wants to either get on Oheb or get on Sanji, one or the other.
And just like provide more targets overall whenever.
Anjir, ini keren kali loh stage-nya guys. Ini kalau stage MPL Indo nggak kayak stage MPL PH guys. Wah, parah kali sih gue bilang MPL Indo nih.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that Liquid's draft doesn't show in the index, and that comes down to map control. That comes down to just team fight pacing.
Nih ada penyakit Moskov gila nggak di sini ya?
The capability to say
Oheb.
when you don't want to fight. Like those
Pas kemarin Oheb aja main haritnya nggak beraturan anjing. Banyak kali blunder. Parah kali cok. Adalah momen-momen dia ngekill. Tapi banyak kali momen blundernya cok. Oheb. Mending siapa ya? Mending yang lain gak sih? Mending goal laner yang lain ya, goal laner PH yang lain guys. Bagus gitu kan? Ini Kerla. Siapa lagi cok? Bagus gitu kan?
It's been nice to Ingan and Renmar on the desk all throughout the day. Gentlemen, how are we feeling? We're getting a glimpse at the emblems here.
Oh, all right. All standard in terms of the emblem picks. Of course, Superfist going for his fast rotating, heavy map presence Farsa, and yeah, I too am erupting with excitement.
Yeah.
Even though it's only game number 1.
I feel the drums. My body's shaking right now, but
Hopefully that's connected.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna look at actually the Suyou so far this playoffs, it seems like it doesn't have a good track record.
Oh yeah.
So Kingkong is gonna look to change that, and at the same time, Oheb and Kirk. Second time only to use the Moskov and the Gloo for these respectively. So far coming into the playoffs, so let's see how things will change, because so far it has been a slow start for both of these teams. We're used to seeing the mid laners and the roamers really poke it out in the mid lane.
Yeah, this one's quite different though too, just because of what we've seen the past couple of days. A lot of adjustments obviously throughout these longer series happen, but this time around with both compositions here, I feel like, yeah, we haven't seen the Suyou perform what we're used to seeing, and that's fine. He kind of needed that adjustment to happen, and at the same time, you just have to be able to support him. Now you have a Gloo here that could help, but Brusco
Finds Tlph with a shield unity, forced out the shadow early on, but in exchange for the revitalize, so a crucial battle spell for Onic.
XP-nya ke mid loh. XP mid.
Yeah, very
Parsya
early in
juga.
the game, Team Liquid Philippines are not going to be able to contest objectives as much. I mean, you've got Gloo, you've got Flasha that you have to deal with, Suyou, of course, one of the relatively tankier assassins.
Oh, mati tuh. Udah mati tuh. Udah pasti mati tuh.
For the side of Onic as they take down Sanford as well. Let's see how Tlph will respond, because Kirk flickers in once again with Super Prince. Kingkong also on.
Kingkong gila.
And an aggressive
Mati.
start for the Sonics.
Gila, cok. 3-0 pas early udah enak kali, coy.
he goes down, and hey, Kingkong might have just put Suyou back on the board a little bit here.
Oh yeah, Kingkong has not won this playoffs yet, if I'm not mistaken. He's 0-5 with everything that has happened, with all the lineups he's had to go against. But so far, in this one, this is not a terrible hero match.
Mati kah? Anjing.
In the mid by Prince and Brusco.
In the blink of an eye, Brusco and Super Prince really putting control.
Udah snowball kali nih
Once
Onic.
again, as
Snowball ya,
well.
snowball nggak snowball kali juga.
Onic with 2.3k gold lead.
Snowball lah setidaknya. 4-0. Tapi ini masih early ya.
It's been so good for a lot of the teams that bring it because it's got such good early damage potential throughout the early game, but even in the late game, we've seen usually topping sometimes the carry in the big four stats for the Farses here.
Wah, beda jauh kali itu Suyou sama tuh Hayabusa tuh.
Still trying to build up into his first item.
Duitnya ya.
Right now. We know even the Jushin pairs up really well with a lot of compositions, but right now they're just kind of getting outmaneuvered.
Yeah, because you can see the dive center composition of Onic. Brusco has been a thorn in the neck of Tlph. As soon as the Lantern player is just beaming up, Brusco just dives in with the shield unity, disrupts whatever Tlph has in store for Onic Philippines.
Alright, so Onic Philippines. Oh, they might find another one. JP? No. You don't need to dive under the tower this early on. Second turtle is going to be up, and it's still going to be looking good for Onic as Tlph is already getting pressured by Kirk.
Yeah. Kirk just replicating what a Hilda does right now. Sticking on to Tlph, even sustaining damage coming in from 2. JP goes in with a glorious
Connect.
SOD is going to connect here.
Kove connect.
Might be able to bring down Super Prince. That's one member down for Onic Philippines. There's going to be a flicker. Sanford working on Kingkong with the zone.
Wah, dapat pula cok Tlph.
Take it down. JP will fall. Super Prince as well. Kingkong escapes.
Just in a snap.
1-2.
Lost the formation. Kirk, yes, he was doing the right job. Kingkong might be up next to the docket, but Bruce was there to help him out. Unless.
Mati.
No! See ya! King Kong was there, and now he's not, there's no way Kirk goes under that. It's a Hayabusa versus a Gloo. He's going to be fine, gets away, but Kirk takes a couple shots. Might just be trying. I thought he was going to try to delay for King Kong to make it there, but yeah, ultimately, Onic Philippines still holding on to that lead they had there. What an interesting fight for the objective, but at least Carl got the turtle. Now the play here on the bottom side for this turret.
Instant rotation from Onic. After dominating the turtle fight, instantly goes down and helps Kelra, gives him enough space to take down a turret down bottom. And now so far,
Wah, dapat
we're
cok.
seeing
Dapat ini ya.
Philippines. Really, the
Niat
sustain
nih.
is there for them because
Sampai buka ulti itu yang Moskovnya tuh.
they have to use a lot of
Cuma dapat
resources
cuma
just to get
sama
by
satu gerobak
Brusco and
doang.
Kirk.
Yeah, they are so tanky, and again, they don't have the damage profile to deal with them this early on. Although, yes, they were able to break the formation of Onic Philippines. It's the strength of their lineup. But if Onic Philippines keeps a tighter formation, they're a little bit more disciplined, and they're a little bit more careful with their timing, then they should not be as susceptible to what Tlph did to them earlier. In terms of the items, still very close. See Tlph still trying to catch up to Kingkong, though. Around getting close to 1,000 gold difference between the Hayabusa and the Suyou.
They're not getting too, lane in some of the important lanes, they're not getting too far behind, and it's going to be kind of work here, even for Tlph, just trying to clear this lane, but look at the shots from Kelra, bringing him under half health. Objective's going to be up shortly, so you got Onic Philippines trying to get in position, and Tlph looking to see what angle they can take, and part of that is just as Brigida called earlier, let Tlph farm up.
Yeah.
You know, let him get to where he needs to be on this Moskov. He can put pressure across the map if he wants to, and hopefully join these fights or the objectives later on. When he's got some more
Mati?
Whoa.
Mati tuh.
Oh no, JP used the glorious
Wah,
pathway to
wah, aduh
intercept
nggak ada
there.
stack pula cok.
Major resource expended for the side of Tlph and on the right time because the turtle spawns.
Alright, so Team Liquid Philippines are most likely going to be giving this objective up as they have their eyes set on the tower.
Sasuke!
The midways are a bit too far, so that could call for a defense on side of Onic. Now they're going to be willing to give it up. Oh, Tlph goes in!
Has to use the wiki shadow kill to evade a potential
Mati.
death, but gets knocked down by Brusco. Feeds the kill off to Kelra.
Nggak turtle kah? Dijadiin lord dah.
Idea there.
Yeah, it looks like he really just
Wah lah si
but
terus.
Sanford could be up next.
Sekarat terus loh.
Pretty Tlph, and a great bump by Brusco.
Nggak lord gak? Nggak turtle ya? Turtle ya?
Force a situation where either the retro is going to be used or even steal that purple buff, and then he thought he could get away, but all the, the super fan was basically there at that point, so this leads to now another objective taken, and maybe his purple buff taken.
Onic Philippines now attempting to steal away the purple buff of Tlph as a 5-man rotation. Kirk just soaking up the damage that Tlph can give him. And now Onic Philippines holding on to a 5k gold lead. Spread already committed by Kirk. Here comes a glorious pathway. Will they be able to make a play here as Sanji just continuing to dish out the lantern flare, but it has
Tapi ada Suguzin nih annoying kali ya. Kan angkat-angkat terus bro.
Still not there in terms of the damage department as Onic Philippines is gold lead is ballooning closer and closer to 5,000. Oheb is just going to be left in
Wah,
big
di dodge.
duty
Oh,
to
Prince.
try and get resources for himself, take towers down for the team. I think Liquid are just going to have to turtle this out
Yeah.
and try to play for the counter punch if they can, because even if they initiate, yeah, they don't have the damage. There's only a glowing wand on that Juicer.
Yeah, and Carl's about 2,000, a little less than 2,009 at this point, so he's definitely playing catch up, and that's why we see him maybe taking some of these chances, you know, trying to get what he can, or even slow down Kingkong a little bit in whatever capacity that's going to be. That's what Conceal going to be used. Might just be enough to push them off of this tier 2 turret.
Sakit, bro.
Force out the Crimson Beacon as Kelra on the chase. Here comes JP though to the rescue. Still no casualties for both of these teams.
Oh, already up to a Malefic Roar. 3 core items for Kingkong, Suyou. At the same time, Kirk and Bruce are getting closer and closer to building up the dominance ISIS, which means that once they have those items and OF wants to, you know, smack a little bit of those big beefy dudes, it's gonna be like, wait, why am I getting slower? It's not as effective as I want it to be.
Yeah, that's going to be a big part of what will help them. Again, you got to remember what we saw yesterday. Tlph, they reverse swept, right? So even in this situation where they're down, what, 6,000 gold, you're not going to be able to just count them out. And you wouldn't want to do that because they are able to find plays even when you think their backs are completely against the wall. The fight for the purple buff, it looks like Tlph is not going to get it though. So does not have his purple buff for now. The Lord is up. This could be a big decision for them. Do they actually want to contest into this, or does the Philippines just get this? It looks
Gara
like
retri ya.
Oheb down on that bottom side, possibly get the tier 1, but JP takes a little bit of hits.
Here comes the spread.
Oh, mati. Gila. Bagus sekali ya Gloo ya, guys.
As they bring him down, Kingkong focuses his eyes on the Lord. Kirk and Brusco just zoning out Tlph. The spear is going to connect. Sanford has to flicker out.
Gila, Gloo-nya guys.
On Tlph here, Super Prince with a feather airstrike to zone out, but Kelra, I think he wants to go for the kill. Sanford goes in with it for the pursuit, and he's going to take him down as Kingkong gets the Lord. Tlph here might be the next target. Sanji forced to use out the
Mati. Wah, mati pula.
and Kelra got taken down.
Mati karena, Cok.
But Onic Philippines are going to be walking away with the Lord. Oheb got back into the action with a Spear of Destruction, but he was able to take the tower down bottom. But at the end, the long sequence, Onic Philippines are still going to be in control.
Okay, they're still in control right now. The most they maybe get out of this is, you know, all the shields are going to be down. Maybe they get a base turret with this, but Oheb and Carl are still up. Oh,
Again with a flicker in, Super Prince with a feathered airstrike. As they work on the mid lane turret, Lord sieging in onto the top. They still have their holy shields. I think every single shield will be popped here. 4-man rotation for Onic. Kelra still not in the picture, and Tlph will work on this Lord.
yeah, you don't have to force that.
So much pressure. Kirk is literally the glue holding not Onic together, Team Liquid Philippines together. And they don't want to be together. They want a little bit more of separation between them so that they can...
Beda duit udah 5.000 ya.
But Kirk is just keeping them at bay. Sanford doing everything he can to
Mati
do
dah.
something here, but he's going to be in trouble.
Kirk latches onto Sanford.
Wah, gila Asucinnya ngincar Kerla.
Might be able to bring him down. That's one member down. Exchange for Sanford.
Bagus ya targetingnya.
It might be a turnaround here for Team Liquid Philippines. Bruce already low, but the members of Team Liquid Philippines are falling as Onic are holding on.
Sandy might be able to take down one.
Mati.
Double for Sandy, but Kirk answers back. A mega kill. Kirk and Kingkong working on the top lane alongside Super Prince, and they're going to bring down an inhibitor turret.
2 lawan 3.
Kirk. He is such a nuisance on this Gloo. It's working so well for them.
It was a perfect pick. Again, I feel like
Enggak salah.
always forget about Gloo in drafts. Now Kirk is reminding us why you shouldn't.
Don't forget the name.
Don't forget, there's a UKK in town. It's Kirk and Kingkong.
That's Kirk and Kingkong, man. Yeah, because that's as far as we go. We only go to 2, right? We keep it there, and now Onic Philippines is ready to go ahead.
4-13 bro.
The next fight, you're still 50 seconds away from this objective coming up. And so at this point, Tlph, it looked like in some of those team fights, they might have been able to turn some of that around, right? But the biggest factor here is they're just lacking some of the damage, some of the durability because they are behind by this much gold. So if they're somehow able to, like you mentioned earlier, Renmar, to turtle up and be on the defensive, but buy time, then maybe to catch up here, a fight once again.
Clark Wade from Sanford just try and stop Onyx onslaught there as they try and take away the purple buff of Tlph. But again, it's going to be a waiting game for Tlph because in 15 seconds, the Lord will be spawning.
Kirk feels like a cowboy with a K right now. He's just rounding up all the horses together, and they just want to run free. They just want to run wild. But again, they're just all kept up, and of course that means that Super Prince is happy, Kelra's happy, Kingkong is happy, because when he goes in with the Soul Sever, he'll be able to deal so much damage.
Yeah. That's why Super Prince isn't afraid to early cast the Feathered Airstrike, because he knows there's a cleanup that can come from Kingkong. Kirk with spread there.
Kingkong?
As Kingkong jumps in once again, Brusco with the shield unity looking for the proper target, and he latches onto JP.
That's gonna be another one.
Dari tadi gitu-gitu aja cok Gloo-nya. Gila, tapi dapat terus ya. Mati tuh. Oh, yang mati tuh. Tak, mati. Last one. Looking for white out.
That might have been enough though. Sanji
Nampak.
on the run. Forget the Lord. Brusco wants to hunt him down. Kelra there too. We'll see if they can push this into the mid lane. They still have some
nggak digas.
time. They try to keep it together, but Sanji, he's all alone. Can he actually clear this out and defend it?
The call for Onic Philippines is to get an inhibitor turret in the middle lane. Let's see if Tlph can still come back.
Wah, nggak dapet towernya cok. Mending Lord tadi.
So there was still time bought for Tlph.
All right. They have another shot at this. 3,500 is the gold lead. It's not massive. They have the resources. Should have enough to get small wins here and there. But again, it seems to be them needing to initiate something. But it's tough. It's so tough when you have to think about the grab of the Gloo.
Yeah. He hasn't died, man.
Yeah, he hasn't. He's 3-0-8. Kirk has been unstoppable here. He's been the catalyst for Onic Philippines and the bane for Team Liquid.
Yep. He's providing so much space for Kelra to basically move around. Even Kingkong to an extent, and that's what I was saying, you know, to Suyou, you really need to rely on that composition.
Kirk again.
Oh,
Tlph.
Kirk with spread paired up with Super Prince's Feathered Airstrike. The Tlph was able to back off. JP already cast a glorious pathway. Brusco quite low, but he has to revitalize it.
Wah, Kirknya gagal bro.
And without Oheb, since he's grabbed by the
Mati Kerla. Wah, Kerla terus ya diincar loh.
for Team Liquid. But
Wah, comeback. Oh enggak. Dikirain comeback.
shattered that dream to keep
Gila bro.
alive. A triple for Kingkong.
it's Kirk and Kingkong in game one. They made it work, and now they'll march into the base.
And in
Oh, udah end game.
the Sonics rages forward as they take game one.
Edge.
What a game. Yeah, says
Bagus permainannya guys.
Cowboy with a K rounding up the horses.
Man, if Gloo was an actual cowboy, I would be
Ngomel si Kerla tuh. Kayak ngomel. Kenapa gua terus?
Wranglers.
Wranglers, yeah.
He's wrangling.
Kenapa gua diincar terus?
Wrangling